To ensure you're using the proper grip, imagine the walnut as the face of a clock. This will be 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. First, your second finger lies between 5 and 6 o'clock. Your thumb is at 7 o'clock, and your first finger is at 2 o'clock. You've completely surrounded the shell now, and you can move it in any direction without losing the grip. The regular steel, you cover the pea and push forward approximately 2 inches. The pea will come right out, and this is the position you want to pinch it. The return is the reverse of the regular steel. You'll have the pea pinched, use the proper grip of the shell, and bring the shell back, and you'll feel the pea roll from in between your fingers to under the shell. First turn the shell up, and as you cover the pea, instantly perform the regular steel. That's all there is to it. Start with the pea under the shell. Start with the regular steel, but push farther until the pea is in position underneath the back of your second and third fingers. Once this position is reached, pick up the shell, show them it's not under there, and revolve your hand and use the pea as a pivot point so it doesn't squirt away. Now as you turn your hand back face down, reverse the actions, place the shell in front of the pea, and as you come back, just perform the normal return. I cover the pea with a center shell. Now I move the right hand shell forward. I grab both the other shells and move them forward, and I steal the pea. Now I move my hands over and reposition and pull back, loading the pea. But I keep this hand on the center shell. Now I cross over, rotate this shell all the way to the right, cross the hands, and move those one last time. Now the spectators believe that the pea is under the right-hand shell, when in fact it's under the center. That's your position check. So this is what it would look like full speed. Once again, begin by covering the pea with the center shell. Move the right shell forward, move the remaining shells forward, and steal the pea. Now reposition your hands and move both shells back, loading the pea. It's important that you keep your hand on the center shell and don't release it just yet. Now, you're going to drag the center shell to the left and the far left shell to the right. As the shells come together, pick up this shell and stick out your second finger as you move them across, and immediately put the shell down and bring your finger back into position and stop and rest. Here's what it looks like at full speed. The Mensa phase starts with the flip steel. You start with the shell upside down, and as you cover the pea, quickly steal the pea out. This steal needs to be done extremely fast to make the illusion complete. Now once you have the pea, you're going to transpose the outside shells 3 times. You never lift up the right-hand shell. You just slide it across the table. This guarantees that you won't drop the pea as you try to pick up the heavy shell. The left hand, however, is going to pick up its shell and cross over. So it happens 3 times. That's 1, 2, 3. Now the pea's here. On the third time, as you uncross your hands, you're going to slide back the shell as your wrist covers everything and load the pea. It looks completely fair. It's so fair, in fact, they always bet on the shell that never moved. And once again, they're dazzled. The switch phase is very diabolical because the spectators never believe you've ever touched the far right shell. Set your shells up like this. The pea is underneath the far left-hand shell. At approximately a 45-degree angle, set your next shell. And talk about that they should be watching not the shells, but of course they should be watching the spaces in between. Once they're set up and ready and they know what's going to happen, basically what you're going to do is the regular steal, but you're going to wait for the pea to run all the way across the gap, under the shell, and out the back door. This is what it looks like in slow motion. I push both shells together. They see the P. I cover it up, and when I arrive at this position, I now have the P. My hand comes back and relaxes. This hand moves even farther forward. And on the way back, you grab both shells and bring them back at the same time. This is the critical part. You must move both shells at the same time, otherwise you'll be caught every time. So this is what it looks like in full speed.